Yo, what's up, fam? This is your boy K Noel. Look, before we start this episode, I just want to personally thank you. Thank you for all of your support, your feedback, just everything, your energy that you give me, because that's what encourages me to keep going. Every piece of content, every episode that I create, that the guests that I bring on, I have you all in mind. So I just want to personally thank you. We've made it to 50 episodes. I'm looking forward to now 75 and 100 now. So I'm already got my eyes on those on the target now. So, but I first personally want to just thank you. I hope you enjoy this episode. Not only am I doing an episode today, well, we're actually doing 2 for 1 in this episode. So, hey, that's my gift to you. But also, I got another episode that I'm going to drop tomorrow, which will be part 2 to the 50th episode celebration. So I have some people on that I previously interviewed before, just so you can check in and see what they're doing since the last time we interviewed. So, all right, hope you enjoy the show. Let's go.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you know I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, jump!
We're choosing to unlock the treasures from within. Winners don't back down, now we move forward. Destiny awaits, you got the power, so now roar. This is Relentless Conversations. Destiny awaits, you gotta move forward. Never back down, man, we always move forward. We got the power, it's locked within. My friend, you never give in, cause it's your time to win. This is Relentless Conversations.
Welcome to Relentless Conversations, where the conversations are always to push you forward in your destiny. The battle is yours to win. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
What's going on, fam? Your boy K Noel. It's no longer, I have to remind myself this, so y'all forgive me. I've been doing this for 2 seasons, talking about the pursuit of passion. But now this is Relentless Conversations. This is your boy K Noel. And guess what, y'all? This is the 50th. The 50th. I get it may look backwards on the camera, but for me, it shows 50. But this is the 50th episode. Man, I am excited. Man, I can't even explain it. I've been going hard for 50 episodes. A lot of people be done quit by now, or it's all kind of stuff, because it's hard to complete some stuff. It's easy when you start doing it, but then eventually as time goes on, you kind of drag with it. So if you don't get nothing else out of this entire episode, just remember to keep pushing. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I got my brother on with me. I got this guy. He's incredible. He has actually been on the last 2 seasons. Last season, he was on several interviews. I mean, we did a couple of episodes together. So you already should, if you follow me heavy, you already know who he is. He's my brother, my great friend, soon to be Dr. Kodia Patrick. What's going on, bro?
And I am awesome, sir. I appreciate you inviting me for your 50th. You know, what you just said really spoke of consistency. And to be able to see you grow from like the first season to the second season and stay moving and trying to be innovative and improving what you do. And even just our conversation, you know, off of camera, you know, to be honest with you, that's encouraging to me, because there are some things that I start and I feel like, man, I want to quit sometimes. And I think about the consistency aspect of it. Like you said, a lot of people, they can start something, but are they keeping with it? And your consistency just speaks volumes. So, man, much props to you.
Man, I appreciate it, man. It's been a journey, man. It's not as easy as some people may think it is, but the hardest part was starting. And I tell people all the time, you know, that's the hardest part. But once you start moving, it goes with it. So I just had to start.
May I? That's one of my struggles at times. Is sometimes I'm so cerebral, I'm so in my mind, and I'm so trying to plan everything out and wait for all the pieces of the puzzle and all the information, wait for everything to come together so perfectly that I've wasted valuable time just starting.
Yeah.
But sometimes it was the fear of failure or what I thought other people would say, and I'm delaying the start. But once I'm in it, I'm in it. And you talking already.
Man, well, see, I think sometimes the issue is we overthink it. We want things to be perfect. We want, all of this different stuff. But even when I started, I started off season 1 was audio. Then, season 2 somewhat started as audio. Then I moved to video and audio. Even the audio at the time wasn't even, quote unquote perfected. I had a totally different mic then that I have now. I don't, upgraded the mic. But, all of that stuff comes along the way. But the key thing is just to start.
Yeah. Yeah. I can again attest to that, because even just this morning before we got on the Zoom, it was some stuff that God wanted me to do, and I had been kind of lagging with it because I was nervous about getting started in some areas, or I kept looking for certain type of information and I wasn't finding it. And there are times where I start to pray and I realize God is like, look, we can't talk about anything else until you make this first move. There's nothing else to talk about until you make that first step. And it makes me think about a GPS. You can get in, you can put in all the directions, but even sometimes you can hit the road, but you may not get the next direction until you get to the place where you actually need the direction. It's not going to tell you go left or right until you're actually going down that road and you're getting closer and closer to that point. But if you just stay in park, you're not going to hit the next step. And I have to keep reminding myself that, and I had to get on my grind this morning and start submitting some paperwork for some things.
Man, I have to, this is my confession to everybody. The podcast course that I got coming, that's a slight plug. So y'all be ready for the podcast course coming soon. But it took me a minute to, even get started on it, because I was overthinking it. I was thinking, X, Y, and Z, or what if this don't pan out? Well, all of this kind of stuff. But sometimes you just gotta start doing it. Like you said, everything else is gonna be added. But as long as you're wasting more time and more energy, most importantly, more energy, just sitting there and thinking about it. Because now you're not doing nothing, you're not moving or anything, but your brain is constantly moving. And what you're doing, you're mentally compiling all of this stuff in your head, the stuff that you should be doing. And now you're adding the overthinking of the what ifs and all of this kind of stuff. So now you're adding so much more to your brain, and all you're doing is draining yourself.
So, real quick, so I know this is your podcast, but I have a question even for myself. What's one of your benefits that once you even just put one step forward, you're just like, oh, I'm so glad I did that?
One of the benefits, man, it's a relief for me. Because, like I said, the hardest part is starting. You ever ran that lap? Like, I don't started working out and stuff. And after, successfully doing that workout, or say, for instance, you reading a book, you officially finished the book. And that sigh of relief of, I'm so glad that I did it. Because in the end, it's so many benefits from it. It's such the reward behind it. And if we just go ahead and do it, and stop thinking about the what ifs and all of this kind of stuff, and we just go ahead and do it, it's such a relief for it. Because not only, here is a benefit. I'm gonna give one benefit. You're releasing stuff out of your brain. So that's one way of stop overworking your brain. Because if you're a person like me, you hold so much in your head, but if you start putting it down on paper, man, I utilize my phone, the notes in it, man, the notes work wonders. I get an idea, I go ahead and jot it down. But as I jot it down, it's still somewhere lingering in my brain. But after I execute on it, then it's released. Because now what was there, what God put in me, now I released it out. And that's the problem. God is downloading so much into people, but they're holding it in and they're not releasing it. So this is a bad way of thinking. They're mentally constipated. And the only remedy is no medicine for it or anything. The only remedy for it is for you to release what is mentally there. Stop thinking about it and just do it. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I'm feeling the conviction. Yeah.
But man, since season 2, what's been going on with you?
You know, I had to laugh to myself when you invited me for this episode, because I thought about where I was on the last episode. So in the last episode, I remember talking about moving, and we was kind of talking about hearing the voice of God and making sure that you hear God's voice, despite everybody else's voice. You know, whether it was my parents, friends, family members, co-workers, whatever it was. And so now here we are almost a whole year later. And it's funny because I'm back in a similar position where God has said, all right, it's time to move. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, right? And so I was sharing certain things with co-workers, and on the prayer line that I host, telling my coworkers, like, sometimes you have to, well, you always have to be in a place where you hear God's voice, and you have to be able to discern his voice amongst other voices, because sometimes even people with the best intentions, they will, you know, suggest certain things, and you can still be respectful and be like, all right, that's cool, that sounds nice, but it's just not for me, or maybe not at this particular time. And so I've been having those situations just this week, as I announced to at least my principal and sharing with my coworkers, like, hey, I have to move. And it didn't make sense to me. None of them ever make sense to me. I thought this was gonna be one of those places I plug in and be for a while, but I was like, nope, can't get comfortable, not yet. So hearing his voice and getting counsel amongst the other voices has been challenging, but rewarding. But challenging because I have to prioritize. You know, it's not something that's just so automatic, because if you try to take it for granted, you could miss something. So it's carving out that personal time with God and making it a priority.
So the key is not to never get comfortable.
Never get comfortable. And let me tell you, it's funny because I was, you know, reading the Bible and whatnot, where it's in Joshua 3, where God is telling Joshua to tell the people, hey, we're about to cross over this Jordan. But before we do it, I want you to get, the measurement these days will be about 1,000 yards. What is it, like 10 football fields? I want you to get like 1,000 yards behind the priests as they carry the Ark of the Covenant. Don't get too close. And that kept standing out to me, because he said, don't get too close because you've never been this way before. And I kept meditating on that. And the thing that really came to me is sometimes we get too familiar with God. Does he want us close? Absolutely. But sometimes we become so familiar that we think that we know better than he does. Or we think that we know the plan when he has the plan. And I gave this example to some teachers, was that we've all seen students following a line. And when those students get too close, and if you tell them to stop, they smack right into each other. Or you have some students that you've showed them certain things, but at some point, those students think that they know exactly what you're gonna do. They try to predict your move. And as you're trying to show them something new, a new method, they try to get ahead of you. And you're telling them, slow down, you don't have to rush right now. Yet they're so adamant about doing what you showed them to do, but it's another little part that you're trying to show them. It's a new method of how to solve a problem, how to get to this solution, but they're trying to go ahead of you. And so what God was saying, put that distance between them and the ark, to me is saying, hey, slow down. You don't have to rush because you've never gone this way before. You don't know everything. You may have some steps, you have some wisdom, you have tools and skills, but let me show you how to do it this time. And that's where I am right now, and making sure that I listen to the right people, regardless of what they look like, regardless of what they sound like. As long as God is speaking through them, I want to listen.
Absolutely, man. And that is important, because if you're not careful, because sometimes we want to have selective hearing, and having selective hearing by listening to the people that you think are maybe the voice for you. And that can sometimes get you in trouble, because once again, it goes back to comfortable. If you get comfortable with that one voice, you can miss so much, because you're putting so much, and I'm not talking about God, we're talking about people. You get so comfortable in listening to that one voice, they will eventually lead you down a different path than God is telling you to go to. God may be sending someone else to you that you wouldn't dare think you would listen to, compared to the voice that you normally listen to. And instead of going by this voice, you're following this voice. And as you see, you can barely see this hand. You can barely see this hand. So they're moving you out of the picture, while this one is leading you through the picture. It's leading you through the path that God has already ordained for you. In my book, Be Relentless, I talk about, the DNA path that's set for you. And God he already has the path. It's structured in your purpose DNA. It's already lined up for you. But what happens is we listen to this one and we get moved out of the picture, because we grow up listening to mama's voice from the point that we was in the womb, and daddy was talking to us through mama's stomach. Those are the voices that we're familiar to. But then here comes this one other person who doesn't believe the same thing we believe, who doesn't think the same way we think. And because they are so opposite from us, we think this ain't the voice that I need to be listening to. Surely God didn't send this person to me. And we miss the big picture.
You could have kept going with that. Could have kept going with that. I was getting the word. Wow.
Yo, what's up, fam? This is your boy Noel back again. Yo, check this out. For all my authors, my business owners, my coaches out there, are you looking to get your business, your book, your program in front of another audience? Then this is for you. Relentless Conversations is looking to partner with you. Yes, you. So what I need you to do right now, all serious inquiries, email right now, podcast@relentlessmotivationalgroup.com. Hey, I'm looking to hearing from you so we can work together to strive to go forward. All right, let's go. Goals. How many goals have you set up for yourself when you gave up because it was too hard? How many times did you feel you weren't good enough because the journey seems tedious? I too felt this way, but then things changed. I realized I had to change how I think. I had to change who I was. I had to be relentless. I am Noel. I want to tell you about my book, Be Relentless. It teaches how to understand your roar, your design path, hitting your mark, and much more. Purchase your copy of Be Relentless today at www.relentlessmotivationalgroup.com. It's not just another book. It's a movement. So are you ready to be relentless? But yeah, man, and consistency, man, and listening to the voice. That says so much in itself. For a very long time, I think, man, for about 10 years now, we have always said that being comfortable is a foul language word. I still stick to that to this day. anytime somebody says comfortable, that is like that's like that. You know, like at one point on social media, everybody was talking about red flags and all this kind of stuff. That's my one red flag. Somebody talks about uncomfortable.
Yes.
Being comfortable somewhere would never get you anywhere. I had to get uncomfortable and do a lot of things that I didn't like to do or that I felt comfortable doing. If I would have stayed comfortable, I would have never been on camera. If I would have stayed comfortable, I really wouldn't have changed the name, because being comfortable, the name worked for me. But there was another plan. There was another strategic way that I had to do things. So I had to change some stuff up. I had to get out of that being comfortable and change the game. So the question is who are you going to listen to? What path are you going to follow? Are you up for the challenge?
Man, look, when you say that, what comes to mind is being a pioneer. Because pioneers are never comfortable. Pioneers are used to set the example for other people. And a lot of times we wonder the why me question. Why do I have to go this route? Why do I have to do it this way? Why couldn't I have started out with this? Why can't this person come to assist me? And sometimes you realize, like, you have to be a pioneer for somebody else.
Yeah.
So the struggles that you have is going to pave the way for other people who are behind you, that, you know, hopefully they'll appreciate the contribution. But if not, guess what? You still got to go forward anyway. Like, you have to keep yourself in mind, but also keep other people in mind, knowing that this is bigger than you. You know, this is bigger than the moment. It's bigger than the pain. It's bigger than the frustration. It's bigger than the hurt. It's bigger than the betrayal. Because it's okay to feel those things, but not stay there.
Oh yeah.
It's just bigger, and it's so much more fulfillment. It's like I tell people, and I even have to tell myself, it's a difference when you're in the wrong place and you're frustrated versus when you're where you're supposed to be and you're frustrated. It's two types of frustrations.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a place where you're not supposed to be, it's a certain type of confusion and frustration that says, oh no, I gotta do something, I gotta quit. But when you know that you're on the path, you're in that place of purpose and you're making certain purpose moves, even with that frustration, it's something in you says, I can't quit. I have to keep going. I have to keep moving, because I don't know if it's today, tomorrow, or the next day that certain things are going to happen for me, that certain things are going to open up for me. I'm going to meet the next person. I'm going to have certain resources that I need. I'm going to be able to move forward with another step, with another direction, with another word, whatever it is, but it comes with being in that right place. And I want to ask you this: how do you break out of that mode of fear and persist and keep on with consistency?
Well, I'm different from a lot of other people.
Right.
And for one, because I'm hard on myself, because when I think about relentless, I push through it, because when I put relentless in mind, and what I call the relentless mindset, is pushing past your limits, because there are a lot of things that we put limitations on ourselves about. But I also think about the people. That's my biggest push, my biggest motivation, is I think about the people who are going to need this message, who's going to need this word, who is just going to need what's in me to help push them, to help them to gain that relentless mindset. Because that one thing about the relentless mindset, you're going to want to be better day after day. You may see one day you may make some mistakes, and you may repeat that mistake 1 or 2 times, but eventually you're going to get it together, because behind the scenes, even after you're making that mistake, and for me, it's just one time. But for some people, it may take a little bit longer, but you're going to keep pushing, and you're going to keep pushing, and you're going to be working behind the scenes so that when it comes again, this ain't going to happen twice, because I got this relentless mindset that I'm going to be better and better each time. So day after day, moment after moment, I'm striving to be a better version of me, because there's another version of me that God has called me to be. Yeah, this season, this version of me was good, but then now God is saying, I need you to go a little bit deeper. I need you to go a little bit further. So, and that's me, man. That's how I push myself. I most importantly think about the people, but I also think about that relentless mindset that I've been in, man. You know more than anybody, after I wrote my first book, how I went into a deep, so to speak, coma, so to speak. And I given up. I said I would never do that ever again. Has this journey been hard? Absolutely. Has there been times I wanted to quit? Yes. But then I pick up that relentless mindset and I say, I gotta be relentless. I got to. Because if I don't, nobody else will for me. Nobody else is gonna fulfill this purpose that God has put in me but me. And we only have this life. I want to get that's just like your car, anything that you buy. You want to get everything that you can get out of. And I want to be able to milk every single thing that's in my purpose before my last breath. So, man, I'm going to let you drop the last nugget before we close it out. So,
I don't know, I'm just in this phase of life where, well, let me say this. You say you may get yours maybe after the first time. I'm that one it may take about 10 times. I'm that one, I'll be honest, I will be transparent. Somebody can probably relate to it. Because after 4 or 5 times, I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong? And why am I not getting it? And sometimes it's just the consistency aspect of it. It's not keeping with what I was supposed to do in the first place. And other parts of it is maybe I'm trying to fit the mold of someone else. I'm trying to fit how somebody else is carrying out what they're supposed to do. So now I've gotten into the comparison game. But getting out of the comparison game and realizing that, okay, my way, my method just may have to be a little different.
Yeah.
And for somebody else, that may be encouragement to come out of that comparison game. Even if you work on a job and you're working beside someone in a cubicle, whatever it is, you're two totally different people. You have two totally different, distinct personalities, two totally different, distinct plans and everything. Makeup, genetic makeup, purpose makeup. So you may have to do something different. And you don't want to spin your wheels. You don't want to be frustrated and agitated, trying to figure out why you can't keep up with everybody else. For me, especially, I have to find my niche and I have to stay in my lane with what I do. It's nothing wrong with looking at other people and what they do, but knowing how to celebrate what they do, knowing how to pat them on the back and encourage them in what they do, but then saying, okay, even as a team member, how can I use my individuality? It goes back to what you were saying, like milking it. Like milking your purpose and every part of it, like optimization. How can you be the best you, the best version of you? How can you optimize everything about yourself? But you have to first know yourself and realize that you're different from the next person. And people around you need you to be you. People around you need you to be the best version of yourself. And we have to realize, I have to constantly remind myself of this. I have to be who people need me to be, not who they want me to be, or not even who they think they want me to be. Because the person who you think you want me to be is the one that you may not get the best version of. Well, I know you're not gonna get the best version of, but the one that you need me to be may be a bit offensive at times. Not that I'm trying to be. But I may say something that you don't like, but you respect because you realize that I'm coming from a good place with it. And at the end of the day, I need you to be who you need. I need you to be who you should be and not who you think I want you to be. Because that's the only way I'm gonna get further in my purpose as well. Correct me. Chasten me if you need to. pulled me to the side, told me and said, hey, you need to get this together. Like, don't play into my emotions and my feelings. No, I may not want to deal with you right now in that moment, but realize that I respect you. And I'm going to think about something that you said like later on today, or that drive home, or that drive to work. And I'll tell you the next day, like, you know what? You were right. I was wrong. I didn't have that type of perspective. And I appreciate you correcting me and telling me this. I've never seen it that way before. So thank you. Be yourself, be the best version of yourself, and make no apologies for it.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you, bro. Man, the years and years of brotherhood and friendship. So as for you all, don't this ain't the end of the episode. We got more to come. So we're going to just slide on over.
My fellow entrepreneur, it is Bobby Robinson, also known as the Influencer Attorney. And first of all, I'm sure by now you are enjoying the conversation with Relentless. I'm super excited to partner with Noel to offer 2 courses exclusively for his listeners. So the first course is a DIY business formation course. And this course is really for anybody who's trying to figure out what business entity. Is it an LLC? Is it a C Corp? So in this course, you'll learn everything you need to know about business entity formation, and I'll actually show you how to get it done in your respective state. The second course is a DIY trademark course, and this is one of my most popular courses. Everybody's trying to get their brand protected, and rightfully so. So in this course, I teach you everything that you need to know about trademarks, service marks, and more importantly, again, I literally show you step by step on how to get your brand protected by actually showing you how to file a trademark application. So I'm super excited to have you. Feel free to go ahead and register today, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care.
Yo, what's going on, fam? We back again. This is part 2 of the 50th episode, man. Are y'all just excited as I am? Because I'm excited. This is the big 5-0. So, yeah, if you all paid attention, if you all watched last season, you had a chance to see it. This is my sister, good friend, Donna, Sherrie. I'm excited to have her on. We're just going to chit-chat a little bit, just to see what's been going on with her since the last time we had a conversation. So, Donna, how has everything been going with you?
Everything is well. A lot of things happening, but all is well.
Okay. So, a lot has happened. I think the last time we talked about the book. So if you care to share a little bit, so what has changed since then?
Oh, so I think when I was here last, I think I was still in the process of writing the book and hadn't really launched yet. So, of course, during that time, I finally wrote that rough draft, got it edited, got it published, and that was back in September of last year, 2021. And since then, just a great response as far as the book and the individuals who have read it, and the feedback has been great. And I'm just amazed at what God is doing through the book and through my story of what I was able to share and be transparent about. And then some of the responses that I've gotten so far was, that I could relate to your book. I couldn't, say it out loud, but I could relate to some of the things that you were going through. And I went back through the book and read it again. And someone shared with me how they felt defeated, but after they read the book that they were feeling triumph to be able to go on and to continue on their journey. So that just warms my heart that 1, 2 people or however many people can be impacted in whatever way by the book. So that's what's happened since then.
Yeah, let's go. I love it. That reminds me of a story somebody was telling me about. Sometimes you just got to go for that one seashell. And, of course, we want to be able to touch millions. Who wouldn't want to be able to have an impact on many? But sometimes, we just got to touch that one. And, that's something that I think about nowadays. I think it was an interview Tupac did years ago where he was talking about he just want to he want to be the person that ignites something in that one person's mind that's going to impact the world. So, you know, I often think about that sometimes. You know, I just want to be able to touch and impact that one person, because that one person, they could be the I don't want to really say the next Martin Luther King, but they could be the next world changer.
Absolutely, definitely. And several years ago, there was this lady, I met her. She was a stranger, but she was so loving and kind of took me under her wing. And she did it as a demonstration to like be able to witness to people, but like it still applies here, you know, through multiplication. So that one could go out and touch 2, or that one could go out and touch 5 or 10. But even if we get that one, there's still multiplication in that process, because they'll share what they've learned, how something has changed their life, and share with other people. Then that next person will share with someone else. So there's still a trickle effect.
No doubt. And it also reminds me of, I often tell people, don't be afraid to plant that one seed, just like you said. Because I think sometimes people when the planter gets impatient with the person that they're planting the seed in. And because of that, they feel like, oh, they're not growing now. They're not growing. But we don't know. Even when we plant a plant, we never see it grow right before our eyes.
True.
It takes time. So even when we plant that seed, it may take a year, 2, or even 4 or 5 years. So, and once it grows, it's gonna multiply. So, you know, we can't just get frustrated with people just because we don't see them growing just yet. I feel like as a coach, that is one key thing you gotta have patience.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't think I would ever pray that prayer of God give me patience.
The blessing and a curse.
I learned that a long time ago. So after you released the book, how did it feel?
Mixed emotions, lots of mixed emotions, because I felt like when I wrote this book, I told my truth, and I was very transparent, because I mean, that's what people can relate to. People don't want to hear all this fluffy stuff, but they want to know the raw and the real deal. So I had mixed emotions, like, oh my gosh, I just told my story, you know, how are people going to react and respond to that? But on the other side of that, I felt freer, because I felt like I was already free from the things that I had overcome. But just to be able to tell the world, to be able to tell more people, was just so freeing. So I'm like, hey, it's out there. This is my truth. This is what it is. I don't have to be ashamed of anything. So it also gave me like this new level of confidence to walk in the freedom and to walk in the story and to walk in who I am. Like, this is a part of my life. This is a part of my journey. So
that's incredible. It's nothing like when we get that next level of confidence.
True that.
So yeah, something. So have you been doing any speaking?
Oh, yes. So I did have the opportunity to speak at a few events since that time. So I was able to, and at first I thought this book was going to be just for women. Like, that was my goal. But from just the outpour and the responses, like, this book has actually touched men too. So I was able to speak to 2 groups of men. Sometime last year was just, no, actually it wasn't last year. It was this year, the earlier part of this year. I was able to speak to 2 different groups of men. And like, I didn't know, just as a woman, how I could be able to give them some insight or encouragement. But it just showed me, even from the responses from them. Like, I had somebody write me an email, a long email from a man who just told me how much, like, some of my story he could relate to as well from a man perspective. And then just to be able to restart and to keep going and growing. So wow. that has so yep, I got those 2 opportunities. And then I was also able to speak at my church. for women's group, because we have women's fellowship. So that was great. And I'm hoping to, of course, land some more speaking engagements as well.
Yo, what's going on, fam? This is your boy, Noel. Look, a lot of you have been asking me questions on what did I do to get started? How did I pattern out my episodes? How did I reach out to different guests? Well, here's your opportunity now to learn everything that I have done leading up to episode 50. I will show you how to monetize. I will show you how to reach out to different guests. I'm showing you so much behind the scenes stuff that I do in my own podcast. So coming soon is my podcast course. Be sure to tune in and check it out. All right? Noel, your Relentless Motivator. Now I'm motivating you to start your podcast. I'm out.
Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Treaty LPC. Have you ever wondered why you won't let others get close to you? Does it bother you that you feel disconnected from family members and friends? Do you think that you might have imposter syndrome? Well, be sure to tune in to the Self-Aware and Effed Up podcast to learn more about yourself as well as taboo topics in mental health. Also, be sure to follow me, Treaty LPC, on all social media platforms under the handle Treaty LPC.
So let's back up to when you had to speak to the men.
Okay.
So, because you solely anticipated, you knew you was going to impact the women, but to know that you impacted men, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel like don't be so closed-minded, in a sense, because men go through issues as well, and they need to be encouraged as well. So that it was really an eye-opener for me. Like, don't be selfish in a sense. Don't be selfish and think that this book is just for women, but that men can receive something out of it. And it just really gave me some hindsight and insight on, like, yeah, men need love too. So
did that cause you to want to change like your strategy a little bit?
Yes, in the future, definitely. I don't know how far, because of course I also offer coaching too, but I'm just really like praying, and also in my 9 to 5, I work with men predominantly. So okay. Like 95% of my clients are men. In my day job. So it's like, okay, Lord, what are you trying to tell me, or what are you trying to do? So I'm just being open-minded and being receptive to the possibilities, and even the men that this story, my journey, my style of coaching, my approach will be able to impact them as well.
Wow. So I love how God adds the stuff to us, because just starting it off, we see it as being one thing, but then as we keep walking, God is like, nah, it's so much bigger than you realize. But the thing is, sometimes people are afraid to take the first few steps. But in order for God to add to us, we have to start walking first. So
definitely.
Yeah, I won't say it's failure, but will there be some lessons along the way? Absolutely. So yeah, and I was just being open, because I think sometimes we have this narrow focus of what we want to do per se, but we shouldn't put those limits on ourselves to have that narrow thinking, but just be open to the move of God, open in the direction of the journey that He'll allow to take you in, so that you can be more impactful and reach more people through whatever He's called you to do. Okay. So what else do you have coming up next?
Well, coming up next, I am offering 90-day coaching right now for individuals who may need a coach for the first time and want to move past some limiting beliefs and codependency habits, as well as move from a place of self-defeat to victory. So I do have that available. And then also, of course, I'm going back to the book as well. I released a paperback only at the time, so now I want to go back and to release an ebook as well as an audiobook. And on the audiobook, I want to, because this is my story, because this is my memoir, I want to do it so that they can feel it. They can feel this story that I'm telling through the book and be empowered and be free.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you, I am definitely feeling the audiobook. We're gonna have to talk about that outside of this though. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm digging the audiobook. So I literally just started getting into audiobooks too. So yeah.
Wow. And I find that men, or from my experience, that men like audiobooks. Like my husband, he reads audiobooks. And then I had a guy say, hey, Donna, if you ever release an audiobook, I will buy it. So
yeah, I do read,
yeah,
but I'm like a slow reader. I'm gonna read it, but
yeah,
it's just gonna take me some time, and I'm trying to learn to focus in on staying on one book, because I could be reading like 4 or 5 books at one time.
Yeah.
So I don't got better in focusing on in other areas, but yeah, I gotta focus on that in the books. So, yeah. Do you have any plans for any other books in the future?
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely. I want to keep writing until I can't write anymore. So that could be 6 books. That could be 10 books. Who knows? It could be 25 or 50. But I definitely want to go back in the lab and do some more writing and release more books.
No doubt. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's get it.
So where do you think you will be in life? Well, let's not say think. Where will Donna be in the next 5 years?
That's a good question. Where I want to be is to, of course, release more books in more formats, to be able to reach individuals. And of course, in my coaching program, bring that up to another level to be able to scale and impact women and men, if that's the way that God would have me move. And then also to be able to speak. I do have some plans to be able to speak at colleges and universities and with government and corporations to be able to inspire them. So those are my plans and my focus. So just coaching, speaking, writing, and just moving and scaling that in a direction. I don't want to necessarily put numbers to it, but because I don't want to put any limits on it. But yeah,
absolutely. I can't wait to see what God is doing and is about to do. So yeah, I'm gonna let you have the last words for. If you just want to encourage some people right now, I'm gonna let you have those final words.
Whew, okay, so if I can encourage anybody who's listening right now at whatever moment, whatever year this might be, whatever date it is, I would just encourage you to never give up, no matter what you may have struggled through in life, because we all have stories, we all have just different things that we go through in this life, but to not give up is everything. And then if I could just share briefly, so if you haven't listened to the previous episode, I shared about how I went through some childhood traumatic experiences in my life that led me to incarceration at the tender age of 21 and doing almost 6 years. But I'm so grateful that I had the urgency to believe in myself and to dream again and to live again and to change my mindset and to not give up so that I could be here talking to you today. So if you're listening, never give up. Try again. Starting over doesn't mean you failed unless you stop trying.
Yeah, I love it. All right. But just want to tell you, I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time out to talk with me. Yo, this is episode 50. So
50, woo woo! Congratulations, man. That's dope. 50. Most people don't get past 10 with podcasts, so I commend you and continue to keep going.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind. So
and let me ask.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say and let me ask you a question real quick. How do you feel about your 50th episode?
It's exciting.
Okay.
And just because of the simple fact that I've made 50 and to see how I have evolved. I was looking at season 1's cover and how I grew from the season 1 cover to the season 2 cover. And now I have literally, changed the name of the podcast. So just to see the growth in what God has done, and even this year, God has been showing out. I told you about some of the stuff, but God has really been showing out. And even in this season of the podcast, I've had people reach out to me now. So it's incredible, and it's humbling. And it shows what happens when you don't give up. Just like you said, don't give up. And it shows what happens if you keep pressing. Will it be hard? Will you want to give up sometimes? Absolutely. Will you be tired, but you got to keep pressing? Or those times that I'm trying to finish editing an episode and the computer is acting crazy. So I said, I'm going to bed, and I get up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to finish it. It's a lot of work that, a lot of people don't see behind the scenes, but I make sure I want to deliver to impact somebody else's life. Yeah.
That's dope. And keep going. Don't keep going.
Oh, no doubt. Because when I hit the 100th episode, well, I got to hit 75 first. But 75 and 100, I'm really going to turn up each one of those too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. So you have anything else?
Yeah, I was going to ask you another question. What do you, even though podcasting is a lot of work, what do you enjoy most about being a podcaster?
The creativity.
Okay.
Most definitely the creativity, because like even this season, I made some changes. I didn't do it in the 50th episode, but I've made some changes in the other episodes where I have this little segment now called Let's Talk About It. So that's where in the form I ask the people, what's their favorite speakers. So I go in and do some research. Now I'm doing even more work behind the podcasting scene. So I found clips on one of the people that they've mentioned was their favorite speaker. And we literally talk about it. What does it mean to you?
That's dope. That's cool. Cool.
Yeah. So I had to get, it takes some time to get creative. So, and I've done a lot of study.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And, just evolving over time as you continue on.
Yeah. Maybe one day I'll be able to do in-person interviews.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I said I want my own whole studio and stuff where I can have the sofas and all that kind of stuff. So, later on down the road, that'll be pretty dope too.
Yeah. I travel down to Georgia.
Bad. No doubt.
So, what is your word for this year or in your season right now? What's your word?
I had to look at my wall real quick. So at the beginning of this year, I followed Darius Daniels' ministry. And his New Year, the service, he was talking about the year of greatness. Then I also was watching my coach's, the ministry she attends. I was watching that ministry too after Darius's service, and that one was resilience. And of course, resilience lines up with relentless.
Absolutely.
So those are my two words: is greatness and resilience.
Okay.
So that's what I've been striving for. I had to, backtrack some things, with some of the stuff that I was doing, because there was a point of time I didn't want to be the face of Relentless Motivational Group. But then I realized Noel had to be a brand too. So in order for Relentless Motivational Group to be what it's going to be, and to trust the people that is a part of Relentless Motivational Group, they first had to learn who K. Noel is. They had to learn to trust K. Noel. So I didn't want to be the door, but I had to be the door. So yeah, it's been a lot of growth between last year and this year, no doubt. So I can't take credit for it. It's all God, just following the path that, you know, God has laid before me. So yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It has lined me up to meet incredible people like yourself. So it's amazing to meet other people that has the same values, the same passion as you. That seeing you all motivates me and encourages me even the more. So because
and you do the same for us.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
I definitely appreciate it. No doubt. All right, you got anything else for me?
Nope.
All right, again, I appreciate you. So everybody, we're gonna move on to part 3 of this episode, the 50th episode, you know. So I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Yo, fam, I hope you enjoyed this show. I hope you gained value from it. I hope you gained a lot of wisdom from it. So again, be sure to check out tomorrow's episode. I have another episode dropping tomorrow. Yes, we're celebrating this 50th episode for 2 days straight. So that's how we doing it around here. All right. So I see y'all tomorrow.
Cause it's your time to win. This is Relentless Conversations.